My name is Marissa Walsh, and today we're going to be working with a math tool called the Rekenreks. Rekenreks are just a really great visual model for kids. It helps them with grouping in 5s and 10s. It helps them see the relationship between numbers. And I find it's a very interesting math tool because it's a linear model, so it reminds them of a number line. It deals in 5s and 10s, so it's like our base 10 system. And it also combines just the whole idea of counters. So it's almost like you have 3 manipulatives in one tool. It's really important to introduce the kids to these and teach them kind of the rules of using the Rekenreks. So here's how you would do that. All right, boys and girls, today we're going to use a special math tool called a Rekenreks. And another name that you might hear some teachers say is math rack. That's another name for it, but can everybody say Rekenreks? Isn't that a funny name, Rekenreks? First of all, you need to understand that white is always going to be to the right. Can everybody say that? White, right. White. Okay, now everyone raise your right hand. I want to make sure everybody knows which is our right hand. Very important. Does everybody know what their right hand is? Okay, so you know that the white goes all the way over to the right side. That means the red is always going to be first on your Rekenreks, okay? Now, here's the other thing I want to tell you about. There's 2 more things I want to tell you about how to use the Rekenreks. First of all, do you hear the difference between this and this? Did you hear that difference in noise? This is a tool for math. It's not a toy. This is toy noise. We don't want it to sound like a toy. When you push the beads over, it should be very quiet. This is tool noise. So tool noise, not toy noise. Okay? And the last thing I want to tell you about how to use a Rekenreks is you might have heard me just say the word push. That's what we call it. So I might tell you to push some of the beads over to the left. See how quiet that is? Or I might tell you to push some of them over to the right. We call that a push. All right, so I want to ask you some questions about your Rekenreks. Raise your hand if you can tell me how many red beads there are. How many red beads are there?
10.
Okay, and I just saw him count the beads. So he knows there's 10, he counted them. How many white beads are there? How many white beads do we have on a Rekenreks? All right, everybody, raise your hand if you can tell me how many beads are on the top bar. How many beads are on this top bar? Yes.
10.
How did you know it was 10? Oh, so you've already counted them, so you just knew there was 5 and 5. Nice. Did anybody have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Did anybody do that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10, right? But was that the fastest way to do it? No, I feel like his way was a lot faster. Well, here's 5, and 5 more makes 10. Okay? Did anybody notice that the top and the bottom are exactly equal? So if the top is 10, then how many is the bottom? 10. And how many do we have all together on the Rekenreks? 20. Nice. So as you can see, it's really important we went over the fact that there's 5 red on the top, there's 5 red on the bottom, there's 5 white, so that makes 10 on each rung of the rack. And the whole idea that there's 20 altogether, this leads them into getting away from the counting. And we don't want kids to spend their whole lives 1, 2, it takes too long. So we want to get into the idea of subitizing, where you actually see this as a group of 5 and you just know that. You see this as a group of 10 and you just know that. So then we move into how do I build different numbers in the quickest way possible using the Rekenreks. Okay, so we're going to practice making some numbers now, all right? And we always want to make them the fastest way we can. So when I give you the number, you're going to push your beads over to show me the number that I say, but I'm going to be watching to see who does this the fastest, all right? Is everybody ready? All right, my first number is 3. Okay, so we're ready for another number. Let's see who can do this the fastest. Who can make the number 5? Once children have had the opportunity to practice building numbers with the Rekenrek in all the quick ways, 5, 10, that sort of thing, then you can really move into building equations with addition and subtraction. Well, I think I'm going to have to challenge you. You seem to be getting this pretty quickly, so let's go with the number, are you ready? 9. So if we were going to show 9, we could say, well, here's 10, take away 1 equals 9. So what would our equation be? What would our equation be? That's right, we had the whole 10 beads on the top, we took away 1, and we were left with 9. That was a fast way to show 9. We also use the Rekenrek to explore the commutative property, and I just asked the kids, does this equation equal this equation, and how can I use this tool to prove that to somebody? All right, so the next thing I want to show you with the Rekenrek is I want to show you how I can prove whether this is true or false. How many of you think that this is true? Raise your hand if you think 3 plus 6 is equal to 6 plus 3. Lots of people think so. Could I prove it using the Rekenrek? Sure I could. So on the top, I'm going to show you the 3 plus the 6. So here's 3. Okay. Here's another 3 and 3 makes 6. So that's 9. Everybody got that? And then I'm going to take 6 on the bottom. And I'm going to take 3 more. And then I can see, are these equal? Or is this amount even? Yes, so that means that 3 plus 6 is equal to 6 plus 3, and that's the commutative property. So I can prove that using my Rekenrek. Another concept that is really clear to students when using a Rekenrek is the concept of quantities of numbers. So you'll notice in the video that I use the terms greater than, less than, so this is greater than this. And I also use the terms more and fewer, just to get all that great math vocabulary in there. I'm going to show you how you can use a Rekenrek to show greater than, less than. So watch this. If I want to know, the number 7, is the number 7 bigger or smaller than the number 9? Here's 7. I can show 9, and look what happens. I can tell very quickly that the 9 is bigger than the 7 because there's more beads down here and there's fewer beads up here. So that means 9 is greater than 7. So as you can see, the Rekenrek is a very valuable manipulative for the classroom. It's a very visual model for the kids. You've seen a lot of the ways that you can use it. Some of the things we didn't look at are doubling numbers, composing and decomposing numbers. You can use it to solve word problems, just all kinds of different things, and it really is a very powerful tool.